what abundance mindset actually is. How can you tell if a person has abundant mindset? Abundance is a feeling in your body, a feeling of relaxation, a feeling of trust, a feeling of peace, a feeling of expansiveness, a feeling of joy that you get when you stop living in fear and you start trusting life again. Welcome to Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, life purpose coach, business owner, and your spiritual guide on all things mindset, manifestation, and purpose. This podcast is a space for deep reflections, meaningful conversations to help you expand your mind, dive into the depths of your soul, and create a life that makes you feel alive. Whether you're walking, driving, or simply vibing, take a deep breath and get ready to dive. Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Blisstopia podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani. And today we're going to talk about abundance mindset. What abundance mindset actually is? How can you tell if a person has abundant mindset? And most importantly, how to cultivate abundance mindset if that's not your mindset yet. And I know that when we talk about abundance, this sounds a little bit out in the air. So my idea for this episode today is to really bring this into the real life so we can really understand what this means in our day-to-day life, in our behaviors. How can you spot if a person has an abundance mindset or not, if you have an abundance mindset or not, and how can we start switching this in our lives? So this is going to be a short and sweet episode. I want to give you really all the knowledge you need about abundance mindset, but in a short and concise manner. So buckle up because we're going to have a lot of fun on this episode. First of all, what is abundance mindset and how do we realize if a person has abundance mindset or lack mindset? So I like to explain this in the following way. Imagine that you go to a networking event, and in this networking event, you meet two different kinds of people. The first person that you're going to meet, the first woman that you're going to meet, she believes that there will always be more. So there will always be more opportunities, there will always be more jobs, there will always be more clients. And she's really open about this. She has this feeling that there's always more. She has this feeling that there is enough for everybody. So the fact that you are getting more opportunities doesn't mean that she's getting more less opportunities. You could be getting more opportunities. She could be getting more opportunities. You could be getting a new job. She could be getting a new job. So there's enough for everybody to be happy, content, aligned. She believes that life is about flourishing. So she's thinking about, okay, what is the next step? What is the next movement? What is the next goal? She's really happy. She's really excited. She's really positive, and she's really noticing all of the beautiful things that are present in her life right now. So she's sharing with you all the trips that she has done. She's sharing with you all of the opportunities that she has been getting into. So she's feeling very grateful in the present moment about all of the things that are already a part of her life. Of course, she wants more. She's probably very ambitious. She wants more, but she's already grateful with all of the things that are present in her life right now. And when you talk with her, you realize that there's not many limits in her life. If she actually sets her mind onto something, she's probably thinking, you know what? I'm actually going to do this and I have the resources, or I know people who have the resources who could help me get into the place that I want to get. So you realize that if this woman actually wants something, she can do anything. Like she literally has not so many limits. When you tell her that you just got a new opportunity, that you just got a new contract, that you just got a new client, a new job, she's really happy for you, genuinely happy for you. She's celebrating you, she's cheering you on. She's very generous. So she's probably inviting the drinks and she's sharing information with you, information that you might need for your own projects, for your own business, for your own career. So she's really there in this event, adding value. And one of the most important questions that she's asking herself is, how can I serve others? How can I be useful for others? So she's coming into this event thinking, how can I actually bring value to the table? How can I help other people? How can I serve other people? So she's really there from a place of generosity, adding value, sharing information, sharing contacts, sharing, opening up all the doors that she can open so that you can succeed in your own projects, in your career, in your business. She has a lot of trust. So she's sharing information, she's sharing contacts, and she does this from a place of trust in yourself, trust in sisterhood, and she's actually happy to help you. She's thinking long term. So she's in this event and she's probably thinking, you know what? I'm actually going to support this person and this person and this person. And then probably further down the line, when I will need something at some point, maybe these people can support me as well. So this is a long term strategy. And she has a vision that we are all together, we're all united, we're all part of the same thing, which is the universe. It's just that we might be different representations of that very same thing, but we are all part of the same thing. So she thinks that you and her are kind of like sisters in a way, and you could and should support each other and uplift each other. So imagine you go into this event and you meet this woman, right? And you're talking to her and she's so open and she's trusting and she's sharing information and she's sharing value and she's very happy, uplifting. She's very grateful with her own life and she just has so much to share. Not necessarily because she is way more important than someone else or her life is completely different. It's more her mindset around things. She feels like she's coming into this event to support other people, to uplift other people. And that makes her so rich in the sense of being a rich person that has a lot of resources, internal resources, external resources to share and to be generous with other people. Now, imagine you go into that same event, and after you finish talking with this woman, you actually run into another woman who has a completely different energy. Now, this new woman seems a lot more stressed. She thinks that there will never be enough. The economy is shrinking, so there are less jobs, less clients, less opportunities. When you start talking with her, you realize that she thinks there's not enough for everybody. So if someone wins, the other person is losing. So she wants those jobs, those clients. If you get any job or any client, it means that she would be losing. So it's a zero sum game. If someone wins, the other person loses. She thinks that life is about survival. So she's literally there surviving in her business, surviving in her job, but it's very short term and you can tell that she's struggling. And because she's struggling, or she thinks that she's struggling, she doesn't notice the abundance that is in her life right now. She actually has a good job, she actually has a good salary, but she's so focused on what's missing, so sad about what's missing, that she's not really noticing all the beauty that is already present in her life. So she's ungrateful with the things that she has currently, even though, like I said, she has a good job and she has a good salary. She wants more, but she wants more from this place of lack. What I have is not enough. So I need to get. You start talking to her, and she talks about all the reasons why the economy is shrinking and all the reasons why it's impossible to get a promotion and all the reasons why she will never get the job that she wants. And you can tell that she has so many limits in her mind. So anytime she desires something, all of these limits, mental limits, come up. And you keep on engaging with her. And eventually you realize that when you share that things are actually going well for you, you're growing, your career is growing, you can tell that she's a little bit jealous of you. You are intuitive and you realize these kind of things. So you realize that this person, this woman that you're sharing and just talking over a glass of wine, you realize that she's actually jealous of you when you share that you just got maybe a promotion. You can tell that this person is very sparing, so she's not generous. She's buying her own drinks, she's buying her own food, and she's not inviting anybody. She went, she got her things, came back, didn't ask other people if they wanted something, didn't invite other people for a drink. It's just her, 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 her. So you can tell that she's in this event to get something. She wants to get a new job, she wants to get a new opportunity. And she's coming to this event thinking, what's in it for me? What can I get out of this? So it's very short term. She's going to this event to get things now, but she's not thinking about, okay, how can we build relationships? How can we build collaborations? Serendipity. You know that she's there to meet people, get opportunities, and that's it. She wants to get a benefit out of that. And you can tell that all of the conversations, all of the ideas that you are sharing with her, everything is very fear based. So she shares something and then she's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And you can tell that she's not really relaxed. She seems stressed, she seems fearful, she seems kind of closed and not really sharing anything out of fear of losing opportunities, out of fear of losing a certain prestige or whatsoever. And you can tell that this person thinks that everybody in the room are separate beings, individuals, and everybody is there trying to hunt for something, trying to get something. So you have a couple of exchanges with her, and you very quickly realize actually, this doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good in your body. Her energy is off, something's off. She's jealous of you. She's not sharing anything. So, my question for you is which one of these two people, the first woman or the second woman, would you actually want to be friends with? First of all, of course, the first one. If you are actually a manager inside of a company and you actually have a position in your team that you could offer to one of these people right now, who would you offer the job to? The person that is there, open, collaborating, ready for a challenge, happy for you, being generous. Would you give it to the first woman? Just telling her, you know what? I actually have an opening, I have a vacancy in my team right now. Shoot me your CV. Here's my email. Here's my business card. Would you give this opportunity to the first woman or to the second woman who you can tell is desperate for something? Definitely to the first one. And imagine you're a business owner and you could potentially collaborate with one of these women because maybe they have their own business, or maybe they are in a business, in a job that is actually pre-aligned with what you do, and you could actually collaborate with these women. Which woman do you think you would actually tell, you know what, we could actually collaborate here, we could actually do something together? The first woman that is open, that is, ready for collaboration, that feels like there's so many opportunities for everybody, or the second woman who feels like there's not enough opportunities and she's really there to get something for her. Of course, you're going to want to collaborate with the first woman. So this is abundance mindset versus lack mindset. Abundance mindset, like we were saying, it really shifts you to this idea of there is more than enough. There is so much more than we actually need. There are more jobs that we need. There's jobs for everybody. There are so many opportunities. There are so many clients. There's so much money. You actually have this idea, this vision of the world, of the universe, where you're really thinking, wow, there is so much. There's so much opportunity. There's so much space. There's so much abundance. There's so much expansion to be looking forward to. And when you're in lack mindset, you're thinking there's not enough. There's limits everywhere. There's fear, there's stress. So abundance mindset expands you. It expands your energy, your emotions, your possibilities, because now you're going to see possibilities in many more different places. And then lack mindset, it shrinks you, it shrinks your emotions, it shrinks your energy, and it shrinks also the opportunities that you're going to see. Because if you're thinking, there's not enough opportunities, there's not enough jobs, there's not enough clients, when those things come and they're right in front of you, you're not going to be able to see them because you're actually closed to the idea of them even existing. So that is abundance versus lack mindset. Now, I know this still can sound a little bit abstract, so I wanted to bring it even more into the real life. So I'm going to share with you 20 things that I started doing when I started switching from a lack mindset to an abundance mindset. And these are things that you start shifting your mindset, you start shifting your actions, you start shifting your beliefs, you start shifting your emotions around money. And then these things become the tip of the iceberg, that tiny little act that you're going to see and that could let people know, okay, this person has an abundance mindset. So these are 20 things that I realized I started doing once I developed an abundance mindset. The first one was going into a restaurant and not really looking at the price in the menu. Back in the days, in my family, especially my mom, she would always pick the cheapest thing, the cheapest item in the menu, the cheapest item in the supermarket. It's very easy to buy with her because she's always picking the cheapest. But when I started tapping into abundance, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get what I want and I don't care like how much it is. And that feels extremely, extremely, extremely good. The second thing I started doing is investing in quality over quantity. So at some point in time, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to stop with fast fashion. This is ruining the planet. This is probably done by children. And this is probably not respecting any code of contact whatsoever. So I started buying less things with a much higher quality. So better brands, better materials, items that I can keep for decades. And it maybe means buying less items, but those items that I own now, they are so much better. Another thing I started doing is tipping generously without overthinking it. So if there's good service, I just add up to a round number that feels good and tip generously without really thinking too much about it. When an unexpected expense comes, and it can happen, doesn't happen often because I usually manifest more transfers and things my way than the other way around. But if they do come at some point, for example, I don't know, we moved to a new apartment and there were, of course, a couple of unexpected expenses that were linked to us moving to a new apartment. You just trust that you're going to handle it. So you don't worry too much about it. You know that, okay, we're just going to move one or two things, but everything will be okay. I also started treating myself with little luxuries on ordinary days, not just as this big thing. So, for example, one of the things I started doing was just taking massages just because you feel like taking a massage. Because I think sometimes we don't want to have a massage, or we don't go to the spa, or we don't take those little luxuries, and we're waiting for a special occasion in order to do that. But one of the things I started doing is I will just get a massage on a random day just because we can, just because we want to. Another thing I started doing is I became quite unsensitive, I would say, to discounts and deals and any kind of urgency culture. If I want something, I'll get it. I don't need the discount. I might not get the payment plan. I might just go in full, give it to me. I want it, I get it. It's not because something is on discount that I'm going to change my behavior. My behavior is my behavior. I'm not changing the behavior because of a discount, a promotion, whatsoever. Something else that I started doing is saying yes to opportunities that feel aligned even if they are outside of my comfort zone. Maybe I'm joining a new mastermind, and all of the women that are in that mastermind have quite big businesses, maybe bigger than my own business. So I will start saying yes to opportunities, even if they mean that I need to get out of my comfort zone. I also don't keep score of what people owe me, what I owe to people. I'm just like, okay, things come and go with my partner, for example, things come and go. One time he will pay, another time I will pay. And I trust that there's a sort of balance in there. This doesn't mean that things are always going to go in one direction. If they always go in one direction, then of course you want to correct. But I'm not keeping score of this person paid one coffee and then this person paid this thing. That's horrible. Like I have so many other things to put my mind to than who paid for what. Like I don't care. Another thing I started doing is celebrating other people, for example, in the coaching industry, other business owners who are doing well without feeling any kind of comparison or resentment. I know that in the very, very, very early days of my business, when I still had a little bit of lack mindset, I would sometimes compare my business to other people's businesses, compare my results to other people's results. But eventually I learned how to deal with that. And now I'm able to genuinely be happy for people who are succeeding. And I get happy for my friends when they get a promotion in their corporate jobs. I get happy for other business owners when their businesses are doing well, because it shows that, okay, this is possible. So I really, really, really enjoy when I see other people winning around me. I spend money to save my time and my energy. So we hire a person who comes and cleans our home. I can sometimes get some things that I need to have delivered at my place. For example, I do purchase on Amazon because I gain a lot of time out of that. So I'm not going to go into the store and try to find the thing. I just get it delivered. I order one day, I get it the next day. And I'm actually paying extra money for saving my time and my energy. I will upgrade experiences. So, for example, I will get the nicest room in a hotel that gets a better view or that just feels prettier, because I want to have the best experience, not just the experience, but the best experience that is possible. I will work, for example, with the best coaches because I want to have the best teachers. So I'm always thinking, okay, how can I upgrade? How can I have a better experience? How can I have more comfort? How can I have bigger spaces? How can I actually make sure that I get the best? Because I know that I deserve the best. So how can I get the best of things? Another thing I stopped doing was apologizing for wanting more, apologizing for being ambitious. And now I just own it. Yes, I have a lot. Yes, I want a lot more. And that's absolutely okay. And that's a sign that we are ambitious. And that's a sign that we're here to create big things. So I do not apologize for having and wanting to have an even bigger business than what I currently have. So another thing I do is I replace things before they are completely broken. So one of the things I started doing when I switched from lack mindset to abundance mindset is the moment some of my socks, for example, get a hole, I will just throw the sock and get a new pair of socks. So I'm not keeping clothes that have any kind of holes, any kind of signs that they're tearing down. My shoes, as soon as they have something that is not okay, like hole or some kind of thing that makes it uncomfortable, I just take it away and switch to a new one. So I'm not expecting for things to completely break down before I actually change them. I'm thinking, this is not what the abundant version of me would do. And I just switch, I throw them away and I switch into a new one. I don't feel any guilt in spending money on myself. I actually love spending money on myself, whether that's just to pamper myself and get access to the wants that I have in my life. And also, I don't feel any guilt when I spend on things that are actually luxuries, like going on a trip, like staying in a nice hotel, going to nice places in Paris. I don't feel like I ever need to explain or justify to myself or to others any of my purchases. I just know what I'm buying, why I'm buying it, and I'm fully aligned with each and every one of those purchases that I'm making. Also, one of the other things that I started doing because of this abundance mindset is I started planning for a long-term vision. So my finances have a long-term vision. So I'm not thinking about just the next bill or just the next month or just this next thing. I'm thinking, okay, how are we going to buy a house in the next couple of years? How are we going to pay college for our children? How am I going to retire being a business owner? So I'm thinking about these things and really planning for the long term, not just for the next month or the next bill. Another thing that I started doing is keeping all of my spaces clear and intentional. Because when people are in a lack mindset, one of the things they will tend to do is keep a bunch of things just in case. So you keep old stuff just in case, or you keep food that it's a little bit about that it's about to die just in case, or you keep papers and documents just in case. All of these just in case, what you're actually saying is just in case there's lack. Now, if we eliminate lack, then you don't need to have things just in case. So I will periodically take all of my stuff out. I just did that 2 weeks ago during the Christmas and New Year's holiday season. So I took all of my documents out and I literally looked at every piece of paper that I have in my home and I just threw a bunch of stuff away. And then the same with food. I'm not keeping or eating food that is not on the best before date. So I'm not eating food that is old or that looks weird because we cannot throw food away. I know that, for example, in Spain, where there's been a lot of food scarcity and people have actually been, they've actually been starving during the civil war. They have this thing where they will never, ever, ever, ever throw food. And of course, we want to be mindful and we want to be sustainable, but also we want to live in abundance. So sometimes we just need to throw those things away. And that applies to everything. That applies to things that you own in your home and you're keeping just in case. That applies to documents. That applies to food. All of those just in case things, they can all be cleared because there's an abundance. There's abundance of food. There's abundance of opportunities. There's abundance of items. So you don't need more stuff just in case. Another thing that I started doing with my abundance mindset is say no to everything that is not aligned with the life that I truly want. So sometimes you need to dare to say no, for example, to clients, for example, to some opportunities, to some collaborations, trusting that what is misaligned needs to fall and provide space for what actually is aligned. So these are some examples of my real life things that I actually do that reflect that abundance mindset and that changed when I stopped having a lack mindset and started having an abundance mindset. And now I'm going to share with you 8 powerful tips so that you can cultivate abundance mindset starting today. Because I know abundance, all of that, it can sound sometimes like it's a little bit in the air. And as I said, the idea for the podcast episode today was to go from abundance being in the air to being really, really, really tangible. What does abundance mindset mean? How do I realize if I actually have abundance mindset or lack mindset? How can we start cultivating abundance mindset today? So, 8 tips for you. Tip number 1 is to start noticing what's already working. So, one of the easiest things you can do is to really open your eyes and really look at your life and think, what is already flowing my way? What is already supporting me? What is already expanding me? And then train your brain to look for more evidence that goes in this direction. So, one of the things that I like doing is every Friday, so after the week, when the week is coming to an end, every Friday I like to sit and write at the end of the week, okay, 3 things I'm grateful for this week, 3 things that I'm celebrating this week. So, what is already flowing? What is already working? What is already here that I can be grateful for? So, that's the tip number 1, to really start noticing what's already here in your life. Tip number 2 is to practice gratitude without conditions. So sometimes we expect for life to be absolutely perfect, all the conditions to be absolutely perfect. And the real thing is that we cannot wait for everything to be perfect to be grateful. We can be grateful today and we can start already savoring all of the things that we have today. So start opening your eyes and start being grateful today with whatever it is that you have. And I'm sure you have so many reasons to be grateful for. So let's look at the positive. Let's look at what's already here. In which areas of your life do you have more than enough? More than enough love, more than enough financial resources, more than enough joy, more than enough ideas, more than enough sensuality, more than enough. In any area of your life where you have more than enough, make sure you're taking time to really savor that and enjoy that. Then the third tip is to start celebrating other people and to start celebrating their wins out loud. So when you celebrate other people, whether they're getting a new job, they're getting a new opportunity, they're getting more clients, their business is getting bigger, whenever you celebrate another person, you're telling your subconscious mind, this exists and this is possible for me too. So when you're jealous, you're going to be contracting yourself and you think, oh, this person is winning and I'm not winning. And what does that mean? But when you go into celebration, you're actually expanding. You're going to feel a lot better and you're training your subconscious mind to think, this is possible. There's proof out there walking on this planet right now that the things that I want are possible. And this is possible for me too. Tip number 4 is to shift from what can I get out of this? What's in it from me? To how can I serve? When you move into a place of service, you actually move away from scarcity and into contribution. You're focusing on what can I do for other people? And that makes you feel rich. That makes you feel big. Rich in the sense of you have so many resources to give to other people. So stop focusing on yourself and what you can get and start focusing on other people and how can you help them? How can you make their lives a little bit better? That's going to make you feel a lot more abundant, a lot more expansive. Tip number 5 is to make decisions out of trust and not out of fear. I am deeply convinced that fear is just a sign that we're growing. It's just a sign that we're stepping into new levels that we don't master just yet. But we want to develop this ability to feel the fear and do it anyways. To feel the fear and say, you know what, I'm actually a little bit scared right now, but I'm going to choose to do this anyways because I know I can trust myself. I know I've got this. And I know this is who I want to be. Instead of feeling the fear and stopping, we feel the fear, and we walk courageously anyways, trusting that we've got this. Tip number 6 is to start thinking long term. So, if you want to feel and be really abundant, we need to start delaying gratification to be aligned in the long term. Sometimes you're going to, if you focus too much on the short term, then you might end up doing things that are out of alignment in the long term. So, abundance is related to the long term. So, we need to start focusing and making decisions that are really in line with what we want long term. Tip number 7 is to normalize receiving. You would be so amazed to know how many people have difficulty to open up and receive, because receiving feels uncomfortable, unsafe. It can make people feel like they cannot get it or do it on their own. So, my tip for you is to start practicing receiving compliments and say thank you with a smile, to receive support. If someone is offering, do you want me to help? Oh, yes, please. To receive rest, to receive money. If someone wants to buy you a coffee or dinner, or they just want to make you a gift, then practice saying thank you with a smile. And you don't need to give back. You don't need to say, no, 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 it's okay. I've got this. I've got this. You can actually open up and receive and let the other person feel abundant as they give to you. And you can feel abundant because you're receiving. So that's very, very important. And again, you would be surprised how many women are close to the idea and the capacity to receive. And tip number 8 is to release the story that life is a competition. Life is not a competition. We are all here growing together. And the more other people win, the more you can win. And the more you see other people being successful in their own fields, it means that you can be successful in your own field. It means you can probably collaborate with them. And this is something that I love about women. We're a lot more about collaboration. Guys are sometimes a little bit more driven by competition. And actually, competition can be a good thing for men. But we as women, we are a lot more inclined to collaboration. So let's stop thinking that we are in a competition for jobs, for opportunities, for clients, whatever is important for you right now, whether you're in the corporate world or you have your own business. Then let's start thinking about the ways in which we can collaborate and rise together. So these are the 8 tips for you to really develop your abundance mindset. And I do want to close this episode with 2 things. First of all, I want you to remember that abundance is not something you attract out of nowhere. Abundance is a feeling in your body, a feeling of relaxation, a feeling of trust, a feeling of peace, a feeling of expansiveness, a feeling of joy that you get when you stop living in fear and you start trusting life again. So, this is a beautiful feeling. I absolutely wish all of you listening to this episode this feeling of abundance. And if you want to learn how to feel and be more abundant, then I think you would love my next masterclass called Money Talks From Anxious to Abundant. That's like 90 minutes. I'm going to be hosting this free live masterclass on January 18th, 2026 in this new year. And during this session, I will blow your mind with all the things you didn't know you need to know about your relationship with money. And we're going to be covering in depth all the things you need to know about money mindset so that you can really step up as the most abundant version of yourself. We will cover the real reason why you're stuck in money anxiety, how your subconscious is keeping you broke, and sneaky money lies that are draining your wealth, how to raise your money frequency for good, 5 steps to manifest wealth on command. I'm going to be sharing the wild story I never shared about money. And we're going to close this with a powerful wealth elevation experience you will never forget. So, this masterclass is a free live masterclass on January 18th, 2026. We're going to do this at 6 p.m. Paris time, 5 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Argentina time. You're going to find the link in the show notes to join us. We're going to have a lot of fun. If you've been on my masterclasses before, you know that this is so much fun. We always end up feeling high, excited. And this topic of money is just a topic that I love teaching and talking about. So if you want to have a blast with me and you really want to dive deep into your money mindset so that you can feel truly, truly, truly abundant, then come and join us on the masterclass. The link is in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. I will see you on the next episode. And in the meantime, in Blisstopia we trust.